All right, let's get started with the GLK 250 oil change here on my wife's car. So first thing you want to do is take the oil cap off. But it helps with gravity, so you might as well use it to your advantage. Take the screwdriver, undo the front clip here to the engine cover, and then pull the engine cover off to access the oil filter housing. I set that aside, or you can take it off the car. Let's take it off the car so I don't have an issue. And then take your wrench with your cup wrench. This one's 76/14 from Snap-on, and undo the oil filter housing. Just be careful so you don't make a mess. What I do is unscrew up a hand, and you lift the oil filter up a little bit to let the oil drain down in the pan. Once you lift up high enough, you undo the seal inside so it drains back down to the pan. And just let it sit there, let it drain while you're doing everything else, and you come back and do the oil filter at the end. So everything had a chance to drain back down into the oil pan. So let's lift it up, get the jack set, and then we'll drain the oil from the bottom. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the tire rotation. I also like to rotate my tires during the oil change, as long as they're rotatable. Just so I don't have to schedule a special appointment in my garage to where I gotta rotate them and not just change the oil. I like to cross rotate my tires, but if you're going to do that, just be careful. Make sure your tires are unidirectional, to where there's no direction arrow on the tire to where it allows you to do that, to where you can run them both ways. I've always done that as a technician, and I'll continue to do that as my personal cars. I think it gives you the best wear, and you don't end up with any abnormal wear on the inside or cupping, or abnormal wear on the tread bars on the outside or inside of the tire. I think it gives you more even wear over time on normal passenger cars. But you can rotate them if you want. You can do front to back, side to side, or whatever you want. But the best way to do it is front to back. And then you can go from there, and whatever is your personal preference. Let's go ahead and get the wheels back on, and then we'll proceed with the oil change. You can use a torque wrench to tighten the lug nuts, but I prefer torque sticks. I've used them since I've been in the automotive industry. I've never had a problem with them. They're good, plus or minus, usually about 2% or so, and usually never over torque or under torque within acceptable range. So you can use whatever you want, but it's up to you. I prefer these. I think it's quick or easy. I've never had a wheel fall off in over 15 years I've used them. All right, so we're underneath here, but so we want to take off the underbelly pan. They're 8 millimeters. So let's go ahead and get it off. And then once you got to the last one, get your hand, hold it up, take the last one out so it doesn't fall on top of you. Place your gun to the side, and then just work it off of there. And I usually set it back out of my way so it's not in the way. This also gives you a good time to check everything, make sure there's no leaks, anything fresh going on that requires your attention. And then we'll go from there. All right, let's go ahead and get the oil drained. The drain plug is right up here on the bottom of the oil pan. Need a 13 millimeter. And I like to do is just crack it loose to where you can run it out by finger, grab your oil drain, slide it over. Just make sure it's over far enough. If the oil is hot, it's gonna really stream out quite quick. Just be careful when you get to the end. You can feel it. And it'll start to drip as well. So when you're at the end, just pull out real quick. So don't make it as little mess as possible and just let it drain into the pan. The one thing with diesel oil, it makes a mess just because of the ash that gets into the oil from the fuel and the combustion. That's why I like to have paper towels handy to clean up any little excess that drips or anything else. All right, once it's a little slow stream, you can go ahead and put the drain plug back in. and I run it up to when it's snug. I give it a little clean off. And tighten it down like so. All right, let's get on top and put oil, or we'll put the cover back on and put oil back in it. All right, once you got the drain plug back in, under tray up, we can go ahead and replace the oil filter. So this is why I said lift it up. See the seals here and here. They plug it to where oil can't drain back down to the pan. So we'll go ahead and replace all the seals and the oil filter. So let's go ahead and get the oil filter off of there. So I use a pick to get the seals off. Just pull the pick around it, and then the seal comes right up and off out of its groove. I go and get the new seals and get them installed, and just work them around until they fit and sit right down in the grooves. Once you have all the seals on, you can go ahead and install the filter. Just push it down till it's seated all the way down to the bottom. Once you have all the seals on, just go ahead and reinstall it back in there. And then I run it down to where it's bottoms out against the seal, and I can go ahead and get the tool. And all you want to do here is pretty much run it down until it stops. And once it stops, give it a little turn. And that's it. That's all you need. And then I'm just a little bit of a clean freak, so I like to wipe everything down, make sure there's no residue or anything on there. So this is the oil I like to use in the Benz GLK 250 diesel. It's recommended by Mercedes, has the Mercedes approval that this engine needs. I got it at FCP Euro. Unfortunately, they've discontinued this oil and come out with a newer spec. So unfortunately, you can't get the lifetime free oil for the car. But yes, it does work. But you buy this from FCP Euro, you buy the replacement, send it back with the oil in the jug. They will refund you 100% of the purchase price, which is great. I've already done it once, so pretty much this oil change here is costing me almost nothing. It only cost me the cost of the filter. So let's go ahead and get the oil in there.